Hey yogis, my name is Eva and welcome to the YMCA virtual studio today. I'm going to offer now an active practice, so a moderate yoga class, so sort of between a gentle practice and a power yoga class. So it gives you lots of options. You can kind of turn it up, turn it down, do what you like, all right? I'll give you a few options here and there, but generally it'll be sort of a moderate level of intensity. We're going to start down in child's pose. So welcome, bring your toes together, widen your knees, rest your forehead on your mat, your hands or your block. And let's begin to deepen the breath. Deepen and slow your breath. And extend your arms forward. Let's come into extended child's pose. Lengthen your sides, inch your hands a little further forward. Try to take your elbows up away from the ground, but press down into your palms. And then we'll do the reverse of that. So we'll let the elbows come down, lift the palms, and bring your palms together behind your head or even behind your neck. Maybe set an intention if something comes to mind here. All right, release the hands forward. Once again, take your elbows up. Let's walk our hands over to the right, just off the right side of your mat. I'm going to mirror my group here, so I'm taking this over to the left. But you're going to go to the right. Reach that left arm out a little further on the diagonal. Tug your left hip back. And with that palm pressing down, try to pull your left armpit up away from the ground. Gaze underneath. And then sink that armpit down towards the floor. And then walk your hands over to the other side. And just off the left side of the mat, reach the right arm out a little further. Press down into your palm. Try to pull that armpit up away from the ground. Gaze underneath. And then press that armpit down. And walk your hands back to center, extended child's pose. Let's come forward into a plank pose. So take your shoulders forward over your wrist. Bring your knees in to hip bone width apart. Or tuck your toes and lift your knees up for a full plank. Your choice. Push the ground away. Keep the heart forward. Lengthen all four sides of your neck. And then downward facing dog. Let's pull the hips back and up. Float the knees away from the ground. Soften into your knees, though. Press your thigh bones towards the back of the room while you try to tilt your sit bones up. Press your knuckles down and forward into the mat. So you're tugging in both directions. Hands forward, hips back. Pedal through the feet.
And then sink down through both heels, and we'll softly set your knees down and walk your hands in so you're all the way onto all fours with your wrists under your shoulders and knees below your hips. Inhale to your cow pose. Lower the belly, lift the heart and the tail. All right, and into spinal flexion here. Press down into your palms, lift the ribs up, tuck your chin and your tail. Inhale again, extension to cow. Exhale, round here to cat pose. And a few more with breath. Next time you're in cat pose, pause right there. Press down into your palms. Tuck the tail under. And just let your body shift back towards the back of your space. You feel that stretching your lower back a little bit more. Keep rounding through the spine. Bend your elbows. Scoop your heart forward and up. One more cow pose here. And then back to our child's pose. Sit back on your heels. Inhale forward to your plank pose. So from here, I'm going to stay in kneeling plank. You choose full plank or kneeling plank. We're going to rock forward. Lift the hips slightly and lower down, chest, chin, then hips. Inhale, cobra on the tops of your feet. Lift your heart, shoulders back and down. Maybe just barely float your palms away from the ground. And downward facing dog, let's push up. Hips go back and lengthen. Inhale to plank pose. On or off of your knees, again, reach the heart forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose if you need it. And know that instead of moving through these vinyasas, you can skip that flow anytime. Just take a little shortcut to a down dog. It's all good. Right. We're going to float the right leg up high. Then a runner's lunge pose. Curl your knee underneath you. Plant your foot between your thumbs. Lift up through the heart. Lift up through the back thigh. Lift up through the front pelvis. And let's rock it a little forward and back. And the next time you rock it forward, set your back knee down. Draw your hips back. Let's lift the front toes and stretch through the hamstrings. Reaching the ribs towards the toes, tugging the hips back, and trying to lift the sit bones up behind you. And we'll rebend that knee. Lift the back knee and step back to our down dog. Let's float the left leg up. Runner's lunge on this side. Step that foot between your thumbs. Use your knee, or your hand rather, to get that heel all the way up underneath your knee. Lift the chest, lengthen. And we'll rock a little forward and back, warm up that back ankle. Stretch the calf. Next time you rock forward, set the back knee down. Take the hips back, lift the front toes. And rebend your front knee, lift the back knee, and we'll step back to down dog. Take a deep breath in here and look forward to your hands. And as you exhale, walk your feet forward to forward fold. So all the way to the front of the mat. Relax through the head and the neck. Pull the belly in, fold a little deeper. And then lift halfway up and lengthen. Find a flat back here. So we're going to lose all that rounding in the spine. Extending the legs just enough to feel a stretch, but without rounding the back here. And then we'll forward fold again and bow. Inhale, lengthen and rise all the way up to standing. Sweep your arms high. Press down into your feet. Let's take the left arm down. Reach that right arm up and over and look down. With your next inhale, reach your left arm up and take your right arm down. Left arm up and over, and look down. And inhale, right arm reaching, and hands to heart center. And your next inhale, reach both arms up. And forward fold on the exhale, all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. As you exhale, step your feet to your plank pose. And from there, make your way back to a downward facing dog. So shortcut there. If you want to move forward and lower down to a chaturanga or to the mat. You have an up dog as an option here, or cobra on your belly. Okay. And downward facing dog. And we're all there, right? Sink down through the heels. Press your hands forward. Let's float the right leg up high. This time, warrior one. Curl your knee to your nose. Lift up high on those toes. Give yourself some space, but use your hand if you need to, and we'll ground through the back heel. Sink the hips low, reach up. Warrior one. The hips are sinking. Tug that right hip crease back. Roll your left hip forward. Right. And then warrior two. Let's open wide. Press the front knee open. Lengthen your tail. Turn the front palm up, reverse your warrior. So front arm will reach high, deep bend in that front knee. You're still reaching high. Straighten your front leg and lift those front toes up for a little reverse triangle variation. And then rebend into your front knee. Cartwheel your hands down to your front foot. Return to your runner's lunge pose. So we'll turn onto the ball of the back foot, lift the chest,
And then reach your right arm up high for a twist. All right, send that hand back down. We'll take the front foot, sweep it back and up high. And then make your way back to a downward facing dog. You can just lower that leg or move forward through a flow. Your choice. And let's float the left leg up. Warrior one. Step between your thumbs. Anchor the back heel all the way up. And warrior two. Spread your wings, reach wide. Soften the shoulders. And reverse your warrior. Reaching high, spread those side ribs. We'll keep reaching high, but straighten the front leg, maybe lift those front toes. Bend your front knee, cartwheel your hands down, and turn to the ball of the back foot. Lift the heart. All right, let's take our twist here. Left arm will reach high. Release that hand down. Let's take that front leg back and up high. And then make your way to downward facing dog. And maybe lower that foot, maybe move through a flow. Maybe three-legged flow is your thing, keeping that leg lifting through a chaturanga. Back to down dog. Great. From here, leave your right foot where it is. We're going to come forward with the shoulders, but let your left knee find the mat. Pivot your left foot off the mat behind you. We'll come to the inner edge of the right foot. Reach your right arm up high. For a side plank pose here. Let your hips drift towards that long side of the mat so we're not hinging at the hips. Maybe you take the top arm, reach it up and over your ear line. Or option to lift the top leg up. Okay. So another option here is a baby wild thing. You're going to bend the top knee and step it somewhere to the floor behind you. And then turn your chest up towards the sky. It's a baby wild thing. So we're on our knee. And then we'll come on back to center. So replace your right hand. And we can step back to a downward facing dog. Your feet stay where they are. Just bring your right knee down to the floor. We'll take the right foot now off to the side of the mat. Side plank on this side. So we'll come to the inner edge of that flexed left foot. Left arm will reach. Stack the shoulders. Pushing the ground away, so we're lifting up out of the supporting shoulder. We'll take the top arm, maybe stretch it up and over the ear line. Maybe lift the back leg or top leg. Or maybe step your top foot to the floor behind you. So you're going to bend that knee. Just let your big toe find the mat for baby wild thing. Spin your hips and your heart up. And then we'll come on back to center. Replace your left hand. Downward facing dog. All right.
Let's find our child's pose. Set the knees down. And we'll thread the needle here with the right arm. Slide it underneath the left armpit. Turn your head to the right. Maybe take your left arm and reach it around your lower back. And take the left arm forward, followed by your right arm. And other side, thread the needle with your left arm. Slide it underneath. So you're right down on the back of that left shoulder. Maybe take the right arm and drape it across the lower back. All right, let's reach the right arm forward, followed by the left arm. And we'll come back to down dog. And float the right leg up. Warrior one. And warrior two. This time right into that reverse triangle. Reach the front arm up and lift the front toes. Our variation for the day. And we'll head to a side lunge pose. Keep that front leg long and straight. Bring your hands towards your back foot. Turn sideways here and then turn those back toes away. Hips back, ribs forward. Get a nice stretch along the inside of your front leg, your right leg. Now you can either stay here if you like surfer's lunge or skandasana, let your hips sink a little lower. That's up to you. Okay. I'm going to keep it a little more moderate here. We're going to walk our hands halfway down the mat for forward bending straddle pose. So let's turn the toes in and the heels out. Ease the crown of your head down. Keep the knees a little soft. Press the sit bones back and up. Fingertips can help pull your heart towards the wall behind you. Let's lift the torso halfway. And for a twist here, bring your right hand down right below your face. Use your blocker right down on the floor. Reach your left arm up and you'll twist towards the back of your space. And try to keep the hips level with each other. And release that hand down. And switch sides. We'll twist towards the front of your space. Try to keep that right hip down. And go ahead and release that hand down. All right. Keep your legs straight. We're going to walk our hands towards our right foot, towards the front of your mat, and turn those right toes forward. For a triangle pose, you can bring your right hand down, right below your shoulder, on the floor, block or shin. Tug your hips back, tug your heart forward. So find this length in your torso first. And then spin your chest open to the left. Reach your left arm up. I'm going to try to lengthen the lower side body forward. Let's keep that back heel grounded. Release both hands down to the floor and we'll bend into the front knee. You can keep that back heel grounded. Just sink the hips low. Like little presses here, nice and low. Back legs nice and long. Opening up our right hip, sort of our humble warrior variation here. And next time you sink the hips, and we'll pivot to the ball of the back foot, lift the chest for our lunge, and step back. You can make your way to downward facing dog. Add a vinyasa if you'd like. And we'll lift the left leg up. Warrior one, step it forward. And warrior two, we'll reach out wide. Reverse triangle. Lift the front toes. In our side lunge pose here, hands towards your back foot. You can turn those toes away or towards the back of your space and sink the hips. So our side lunge here, where we're parallel to the ground with the torso, or surfer's lunge if you want a little bit more. Sink the hips down lower, and whatever you want with your arms is up to you. Spread or stay here. Great. Let's go to center, our forward bending straddle pose. Pivot your toes in, heels out. Let's take a bow. So this time with straight legs, walk your hands a little bit over towards your back foot or your right foot. And we'll take hold of that leg or ankle with your left hand. And hug in. And kind of tug your torso back towards center. And then reaching that right arm up for a twist, so a little deeper twist this time. Or take your top arm, wrap it around your low back. Again, try to tug the torso back towards center. Great. And release your hands to center. And we'll walk our hands over to the front foot or left foot. Still staying sideways here though on the mat. Just hug in for a moment towards that leg. And while you're doing that, take your ankle with your right hand. And start to tug your torso back towards center. And reach the left arm up. Or wrap that arm around your low back. So taking this twist a little bit deeper here. If you like the first one better, come there. Great. And release, hands to center. All right, so with straight legs, walk your hands towards your left foot. We'll turn those toes forward and get ready for that triangle pose again. Use a block on this side. So left hand down, right below your shoulder. Again, lift and lengthen first. So tug the hips back, reach the heart forward, and then spin the chest open. Try to keep your torso right over that front leg. And the top arm can stretch high. All right, bend into your front knee and bring your hands down. Swivel to the ball of the back foot, lift the chest. Do we twist on the other side? Not sure. Let's reach the left arm up. And release that hand down. All right, let's step the front foot back to down dog or move through your flow. your choice. And walk your feet to your hands. Let's come all the way up to our forward fold. Melt the ribs over your thighs. So this time, let's take our hands underneath our feet. So maybe one at a time if you're not comfortable doing both. But your palm up, slide all the way under so your toes meet your wrists. And you're on the back of your wrists. If you want to do both at the same time, fine. If you want to do one and then the other, switch sides when one side feels complete. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit and give the heels of your hands a massage. And release your hands one at a time. Let's halfway lift. Inhale and lengthen. And exhale, forward fold, bow. Inhale, lengthen and come all the way up. Reach your arms high, lengthen your tail. And release hands to heart center. All right. Let's reach back behind you. Clasp your hands together and open the chest. Shift your weight to your right foot and lift your left knee up in front of you. Let's head towards Warrior 3 pose. So you're going to hinge forward. Send that left heel back. Reach your knuckles towards your back heel. No rush. Release your hands to heart center. Either stay here a little longer or transition to balancing half moon if you would like. Bring your right fingers down to the block or to the floor. Left hand to your hip, and we'll spin the hips open. Rotate that thigh to the left and reach your top arm up. You can hold either pose as long as you'd like. When you've had enough of it, find your forward fold. So you can square your hips and lower your left hand and foot. This time from here, bend your knees deeply, tuck your tail under, and we'll slowly unroll our way up. Let your arms hang heavy, your head heavy, till you're all the way up. Your crown lifts. Sweep your arms up high, and we'll take our hands to heart center. Other side, reach back behind you. Clasp your hands together, lift the chest. Shift your weight into your left foot, and we'll take the right knee up. Okay. Take your time, Warrior 3. Let's come forward with the heart. Extend that right leg, press through your heel, tug the ribs forward. And release hands to heart center. Feel a little cobra in that upper spine. Press through your heel. Yeah. Stay a little longer or transition to half moon. Left hand right below your shoulder and lightly there. So you really don't want to lean a lot of weight on that hand. It's really light. Lift up through the right hip while you push down into your left foot. So you're pulling that right hip up away from the ground. Spin your heart open, reach the right arm up high. You're going to hold it as long as you'd like, either pose. When it feels complete, and go ahead, release right hand and foot to meet the left, forward fold. And once again, we'll bend the knees deeply. Tuck your tail under, slowly unroll your way to standing. Take your time. And the crown of the head lifts, sweep your arms up high.
And release hands to heart center. All right, take a deep breath in, reach out and up. Forward fold, exhale.
And lift halfway. And we'll step back to our plank pose. And make your way to downward facing dog. All right. Walk your feet halfway to your hands. Let's have a seat.
And we'll come into butterfly pose. So let's bring the soles of the feet together. Hold on to your toes. Lift the chest and hinge forward. Keep lifting through those low ribs, reaching them towards the front edge of the mat. And then we'll lengthen and rise all the way up. Let's extend the left leg forward. Keep your right foot to your inner thigh here, and we'll inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, reach out and over. Our head to knee pose. Keep a little softness in that left knee as you fold. And if your foot's a little far away, you can use your strap around the bottom of that foot. Great. Send the heart forward and rise all the way up. Let's take our right heel just above the left knee and lean back on your hands. And we'll hop that left foot in just a little bit. Lift the low ribs. Tip your pelvis forward. Drop that right knee forward away from you. And we'll try to tip the pelvis forward. Maybe explore a little bit. Rock knees side to side. And release, extend that leg in your right leg. We'll do head to knee pose first on the other side. So left foot to your inner thigh, knee down. Let's lift, reach the arms up high. And exhale, reach out and over. All right, send the heart forward. Let's climb the hands back in. And let's take left heel just above the right knee and lean back on your hands. Hop the right foot in. Okay, just a little bit, like 6 or 8 inches. And we'll lift the low ribs, tip the pelvis forward, drop your left knee forward away from you. Same thing, maybe a little rock side to side, a little exploration. And keep trying to tip the pelvis forward. That's important. If we tip it back, we lose the stretch that's happening in the left hip here. All right, so let's go ahead and release that foot down. Let's bring both feet to the floor. We'll hold on to our thighs carefully, slowly roll all the way onto your back. And then hug your knees into your chest. All right, let's release our feet down to the floor. We'll come into an L pose here for a moment. If you have a block, take your block underneath your sacrum here, or if you don't have a block, use your fists underneath you. Or a couple of books work really well too. We'll bring the knees in and extend your legs up, stacking your heels over your hips. Bend your knees into your chest. And one at a time, bring your feet down to the floor. You can take your block out from underneath. For a final twist, let's cross the left thigh over the right thigh. Let's take our knees to the right. Put your left arm to the left. Turn your head to the left. And let's bring our knees back to center and switch the cross of the legs. Take the same twist to the other side. Bring your knees back to center, uncross your legs. And we'll head to Shavasana, or final relaxation. Extend the legs. Let's take a little tug of your shoulders down away from your ears. Turn your palms up and find stillness. Let's begin to wiggle our fingers and toes. And we'll take a deep breath in, reach your arms up and overhead so they reach the floor behind you. And bend your elbows and knees and gently curl over onto your side. And very slowly and carefully, bring yourselves up to your seated pose. And maybe keep your eyes closed. Allow your head to be the last thing that comes up. And then when you're there and sitting tall, let's take one more deep breath in together. Let's reach our arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center. It's been my honor leading your practice. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you, and I thank you for joining me today at the YMCA Virtual Studio. Have an awesome day. Namaste.